Okay, here we are with episode 3 of the JROCK Onsen. I'm joined by Sis.
Yay.
NBT.
Woohoo.
And not Nexus, because Nexus decided she doesn't love any of us anymore. So, we're doing the all men's bath, the sausage cast, if you wish, if you please. And we're going to kick it off with X Japan, who is, or was, at Coachella. And this is a music festival here in California, which is where Mazo happens to be from, which is why you see me covering stuff out here in California. Unfortunately, I didn't go to Coachella. It's very not easy to get into. But this is kind of a really big move on their part because of how big Coachella is and just the wide range of people that attend. I mean, to put it into perspective, they played 2 nights, April 14th and April 21st, and on the 14th, while they were playing, Beyonce was playing on another stage, and I mean, everybody knows Beyonce, right?
Who? Huh?
Okay, so moving on from the non-J-Rock, they did bring some holograms, which was pretty cool. They brought some people out there. NBT, I know you like holograms. What were these holograms?
Yeah, they were not on par with the Hatsune Miku or the 2-pack hologram. It was I don't know. It was so disappointing though because when you use the name Hide to promote and Taiji, it's like you expect big things because at this point they're legends. So it was quite disappointing to see the small. I don't know. It was like 2 small screens, basically. Did you guys see it?
I saw the video. I mean, I'm not as critical of the holograms as you were. I like the idea that they were there. I thought that was pretty cool. But I don't really remember what the Tupac one looked like. But I do know what the Miku ones look like, and it's like she's real, and I can't wait until I have one in my house. But
yeah, for the Coachella concert, it was more like two static screens almost. But for 2-pack, that guy basically walked around the stage, and
that's the same thing they do with Miku, right?
Exactly. So it was not as immersive as I thought it would be, or hoping it would be. So I think I got my hopes up too high, probably.
Yeah, I have no idea about the holograms. So, like, honestly, you guys probably know more than me. So it's just like, if it's not up to par, then that's saying something, you know?
Yeah, I guess there's just different techniques of doing it, and they chose one of the. I mean, it's not like I don't want to say they chose to do it. Maybe that's what they had access to, which was one of the simpler ones, something that's easier to travel with. If not, they would have had to set something up. Because I do think that somewhere here in California, I think it's in Hollywood actually, there is a theater that's opening up that's going to do live shows that's 100% hologram live shows, like artists that just don't exist anymore, and that's all they do. So I'm not sure if it's open already, if it's actually still going to open, but that is the thing. And those kind of holograms, if they're going to be using, those Miku style ones, they're, not freaking cheap, and you don't want to be traveling with that. You break that.
It wasn't just the technique, it was the footage, because you have to cut out the objects, the person in the video, so you get that immersive feeling. But their cut up was basically like, when you take a light brush and you like try to cut something out on Photoshop.
I just use MS Paint.
Yeah, okay, it's the same with MS Paint. Yeah, you have this like fade out, the white fade out at the edges.
Okay, yeah, I get you. Yeah.
So you could see the outline.
Yeah, it was really big. The outline was really big.
Oh man.
Okay, well, I mean, regardless, they exposed. That sounds bad. I was gonna say they exposed themselves to a ton of people, but
again, I imagine it is quite hard, especially at a festival of all places, to do that kind of stuff. So,
that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
But yeah, I mean, the big takeaway here is that they were at a very big deal festival with a lot of other big deal artists. I mean, like I said, Beyonce was there. You said that was where the Tupac hologram debuted. I mean,
No, I did not.
Oh, well, that's where it did debut. It was at
It did?
Coachella. Yeah, it was at
Oh,
Coachella
shit.
a few years ago. So I mean, Coachella is a really big event, and you know, people who go, there's a shitload of them. They go from, I guess technically all over the world. You get people coming in just to go to this festival, and now X Japan's kind of put their name out there. So that's good for the J-Rock world.
It was weird when they announced it, though. I must say, when they announced it, I was like, "What is going on here?" Because this sounds like it, like complete. Oh, I didn't know like rock bands play at Coachella.
Well,
No
Because
knowledge.
of Beyonce.
that was
Because
the original.
Beyonce, because Eminem played there once. Obviously Tupac, you know, hologram. So just hearing them playing at Coachella doesn't sound the most enticing thing to me, you know. So
Well, from my understanding, originally Coachella was like 100% rock bands.
yeah,
But, you know, now it's gone more into just being what's popular at the time. And that's why if you're there, you know, you're getting a lot of eyes on you because it's a very popular thing now. It's not just the one genre. So it's really widened up. Whether or not, you know, you're a fan of the fact that it widened up is one thing, but it's undeniable that it's a huge event with a lot of people going to it, with a lot of different tastes mixing in. Okay, and the next story is we had a Hyde cosplayer that we posted. Her screen name is Mirume, and I said her because, from my understanding, it is a girl. And basically, she pulled off like a flawless Hyde cosplay. It looks exactly like him. And if you ask me, it's definitely the eyebrows that do it.
I think it's the mouth.
No,
definitely.
dude, it's the the mouth too, but
Lips
the
as
eyebrows
well.
really did it for me. I was like, yeah, those are his eyebrows.
Hmm.
I don't know. I wasn't really convinced, but like you have to really watch it from far away to kind of be fooled.
Okay,
Yeah.
Eagle Eye. What does it take to convince you then?
She's done really well. I mean,
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
a lot of the older J-Rock bands, so Hyde, Hide, probably like X Japan, a lot of the popular ones are always cosplayed.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Durham Gray as well, older Durham Gray and the Gazette as well. And they're like not, I wouldn't say always cosplayed, but they're most likely to be cosplayed from the world of Visual-kei and Japanese rock. And so you get so much of them, you know, you could be looking at whoever and it could not blow up. And at other times you get somebody like Mirume and you get what 12,000 likes as when Edo wrote the article. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean
And-
that whole cosplay world has always been interesting to me. I mean, obviously, for the most part, my exposure to cosplay is like going to conventions and stuff, and it's all anime. But then when you see J-Rock cosplays, it's just I don't know. To me, it's a little strange because the whole J-Rock style, Visual-kei style, you can always put your own twist on it. But rather than put your own twist on it, a lot of people they just go straight for the mimicry of someone else and.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, in Mirume's case, like, I think it's really cool what she did because, like we said, it's very convincing. And then I mentioned to Edo, too, that there's this guy on, I think it was Instagram, who, like, very closely pays attention to whatever Hyde wears. And then he'll go out and get all the same stuff. And if you look at his posts, like, if you're not paying attention, you're like, is that Hyde? So that's kind of like a weird thing that these people want to be like their doppelgangers.
Yeah, I saw that as well. And I just want to bring attention. There's another cosplayer, called I think it goes by the name as Dact777, and I guess you can guess who that is. That's Gact, but it's not like most recent Gact. It's like old Gact, the Gact we all know and love, you know. And
I like the new gag.
I love Gact in general, so I don't know what's going on with this.
I guess the more I would say the more feminine, the more flamboyant side of Gact, you know, miserable era Gact.
Yeah.
Who got
that was the more Visual-kei-ish gag.
Yeah, their cosplays are really
Redemption.
good as well, like really good. So I would definitely recommend you check that.
Usually when you go to concerts in Japan, like with these bigger artists like X Japan Gazette, you always see really, really, really good cosplayers there.
But that really blows me away because that happens here too. Like I'll be in line to go into a Dir en Grey show, and there will be like people in frilly dresses and stuff doing like the whole goth loli thing, not necessarily cosplay. But then what happens when I'm in a show is people get fucking hit, man. And like if you're wearing makeup and a frilly dress, you're not gonna walk out in one piece. And I feel like that really restricts your enjoyment of the show. Like even if you're not, you know, crazy violent like I am, even just standing there and kind of trying to get into it, it's like you can't bump into anyone. You're gonna smudge your fucking makeup. Like I don't know. That feels like a you're taking on a whole job when you're going to the show.
No, but that's not a problem when you're in Japan because you have like a designated like seat.
That is true.
You have free space basically, and you have like a not an arm's length of like space, but enough to be at your comfortable area
but
where you can do whatever you want.
I mean, I can't say I've been to a Dir en Grey show in Japan. I can't say I've been to like any show in Japan that's like kind of like really been intense to compare to Western shows, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got to expect to just get not hurt, but something to happen, especially with Western audiences, you know? When I went to X Japan last year, was it 2 years? Man, time has gone fast. There were a lot of X Japan cosplayers, and a lot of them were really amazing, like absolutely top class. And again, it's amazing seeing it. The Wembley Arena is seated, so at that time there's no real worry about having to deal with like crowds of people like fighting in the mosh pit or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Fighting.
So people can have their perfectly spiked up hair like Hide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's really cool how there's all these different ways to really express your interest in the JROCK world. I mean, you can be a cosplayer, you can be anything. I mean, you could just go to the show and hit people, and it's just that's the way you enjoy it, and that's a nice thing.
I mean, it's not a nice thing to hit people, but
it's nice, man. I was talking to a friend about that actually. He's more into like black metal and stuff like that out here in the West. And he was talking about how he's like, man, I'm getting old. I don't think I'm going to be going in the pit anymore. I'm starting to get hurt the next day. Like, I'm sore. And I was like, dude, like, you have to get in the pit. That's the whole point of everything. He's like, I don't know. I always get hurt. I'm like, let me tell you a story. I was in the pit one time, and I got tired. And this is something I do when I get tired. I'm not sure if people hate that I do it, but when I get tired, I'll just go in the middle of the pit. And I won't push or swing or do anything. I just kind of run into people like a pinball, like arms down, just like getting slammed around and just getting beat to shit. And there's something cathartic about it where you're just like taking these hits, just like totally defenseless, watching Kyo up there just like screaming and you're like, yes, and then I'm getting the shit beat out of me by these strangers. And all of a sudden, somebody comes flying at me who was like, you know, running in a circle and then got launched off of somebody else. And they elbowed me right in the back. And I felt like each, like, I don't know, vertebrae just crack, 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 all the way down. The next morning I woke up, my back has never felt so good. So, if you're doing
you got
it
a
right,
massage.
I was worried.
if you're doing it right,
Yeah, you got a
chiropractor.
Basically, you pinpointed where to like get hit, and then you basically fixed your body.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But then, you know, like a few years later, I was at a sim show, and they did the Wall of Death, and I ran into a guy like twice my size, and I almost blacked out because of how much that one hurt. So it all depends. But
yeah,
you know.
no, it definitely depends. I mean, obviously, when you're going to the mosh pit, you already have the idea that you know so you might get hurt, you're gonna have bruises in the morning. So I think that's also a given. You know.
And then when you're going out in cosplay, you know, nobody's gonna mess with you. They're just gonna be like, "Oh, you're so pretty."
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next story, which is we polled the readers and asked them what the best Gazette songs were. So I mean, what were the results with this?
Let me bring up
opinions
the
on it?
list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me bring up the list.
Yeah. Okay. So we have two lists of the top songs. One is the A-side songs, and one is the B-side songs.
Specifically singles, then.
A side is specifically singles, and B side is album songs that are not singles and also B-sides that were on singles. If
Okay.
that makes yeah.
Yeah. So on the A side, we have number 1, Undying, which isn't that surprising, to be honest. And then number 2, Rayla. Number 3, Filth and Beauty.
I
Number
agree.
4, Miseinen. And number 5, Shizuru. And then we can go on. But I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to bring some of these songs that we have on the B side to your attention.
Hold up. What do you think of the A side album
I
list?
feel like I really thought Filth and the Beauty was going to be higher on there.
I thought so too. I don't know how Undying is. I'm not going to not being rude. I don't know how Undying for a new song is so high. Honestly,
No, it's because it's a new song. That's why.
I think it's fresh in everyone's mind.
Yeah. But I understand Rayla, Without a Trace. I mean, Without a Trace is a B-side. I mean,
Without a Trace was on there?
It was on the second best of album, Traces. And it was on what's it called?
It's Coma.
Yes, that's it. So I mean, technically it's a B-side, but I'm glad it's on there along with Guren.
Yeah,
I mean,
so that was still the A side list we were talking about, just to clarify.
With Without a Trace, just to give in a little tidbit here, that's one of their slower ones, and that's like one of the only slow songs that I actually thoroughly enjoy. And I think part of it is it was used for a Japanese film by the name of Hard Revenge Millie. Have you guys ever heard of it?
I saw the trailer for it and I was like, wow, that is actually quite cool.
It's a pretty. I mean, it's 2 films. The first one's a short film, and I think the second one is also a short film as well, but it's a little bit longer. Kind of like the old Takeshi Miike kind of stuff. Very graphic, like in your face. Like if you've seen Machine Girl, kind of like that. I mean, she does have a shotgun for a knee.
Yeah.
And then,
okay, it's that one.
Yeah. I actually own both of them. They're really great. And Without a Trace felt really odd in there, but like for the trailer that they used it in, it was great. It was great.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I highly recommend Hard Revenge Millie if you like those super graphic, gory films.
Okay, so let's move on to the B side then.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna run down the top 5 that we have. So we have 10 listed. So you can check that out on our website, jrocknews.com. So search for top 20 the Get Set song picks, song picked by our readers.
Wait, we have a website?
Oh man, we have.
All right, go on.
Okay, so the number 1 pick is Silly God Disco, and number 2 Falling. That's a recent song, and number 3 Setsu, 4 Cassis, and 5. How do you pronounce it?
It's I don't know. It's French. Deracine. I don't know.
I didn't know that was supposed to be French.
Deracine. Yeah, Deracine. It is. Yeah. What's your guys' thoughts on?
I don't like any of those.
Right.
How about Setsu? That's one of their more appealing songs from their. I don't know if it was indie area, but
I like Antipop.
Oh,
yeah,
Antipop's great. I liked a lot of their stuff, like right before Stacked Rubbish.
Like the Disorder stuff. I think you're referring to.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
What was
definitely.
it? Juyonsai Knife.
Yeah, that was
some of the stuff around them was really good too. Like some of their really early stuff, I really like when they kind of had more of that punk attitude to them.
It was more edgy at that time.
Yeah, you could almost cut yourself on the band.
Raw, and just like the recording of it was just really indie.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if
sounded
that
totally
was
different
intentional.
too. Actually, you know what? Was Tyon on the list at all?
Tyon was 6 on the B side.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Oh,
like,
wait,
how could that one not be on there? I was gonna say, if that's not on there, an understanding is impossible.
You guys know the story behind it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not get into that one.
Yeah, it's quite depressing. So you have to look it up yourself.
1 minute, I just want to say one more thing. The B-sides, a lot of these songs, I've listened to them a lot of times, and what I'm finding is that a lot of them I don't like now compared to when I liked them. So Silly God Disco, I'm not really a fan of now. Back when I first discovered the Gazette, I was a really good fan of it. Same with Zetsu and Tyon as well. So it's a really weird feeling for me to see some of these songs in there, because I'm just like, you could have picked Nakigahara.
Oh,
Like, Man, that song is amazing.
Yeah.
Or Vermin. Why doesn't people pick
That's what I
Vermin?
mean. Or DON, you know, or Dazzling Darkness. Damn, there's so many songs I could mention, but a lot of their songs are like their ballads. I think are best when they really show themselves. Especially Barretta.
I don't know about that one.
But yeah,
I think I can kind of agree with the point you're trying to make, though, is that Gazette can make a really good ballad. I'm not a fan of ballads, and I think that's why Gazette isn't like one of my top bands, but there's no denying that when they do pour their heart and soul out into one of those ballads, they're really good.
yeah, I agree, yeah.
But it's not the music I beat people to. So now we're moving on to our next segment, which is just our extra little tidbits. As you know, these are either smaller stories I didn't really get on there, or they're just shameless self-promotion. So I'll start off with reminding everyone that Deviloof is releasing Kaika. Deviloofs have released Kaika, and I got that in the mail last night. So I listened to it already, wrote up my review, waiting for it to be edited. It's a short one because it's only 2 new tracks. I got the limited edition, so expect to hear about the 2 live tracks that are on there as well.
By the time you listen to this, Maz's review is probably going to be out on our website, so go check it out.
That's true. And then the other thing is, I don't know how many of you actually follow them, but I did cover them when they performed out here in California, which is Chinese band Voodoo Kung Fu. So hardcore they got banned from China. They released a single track where they're working with cellist Tina Guo again, who she did the Wonder Woman theme song for the DC films. Man of Determination is the track. It's like 99 cents on Google Play. If you want to support them, go for it. The video's out on YouTube. Very similar feel to their other video that's on there for Theocracy. A lot more traditional sounding Chinese. It's kind of nice. It's a different direction for Voodoo Kung Fu. It's less angry and more determined. Sis, you got anything?
Edo, one of our editors, I'll say our editor, has been writing about basically JROCK makeup, and there's a whole series on that. At the moment, we're focusing on Kawaii Patine. That has quite varied amount of looks. I've checked out myself over the past few weeks. I definitely recommend you check it out because it's quite cool. There's Rohei X Megamaso on there, along with other bloggers, I would say, or influencers. Get inspired, I guess.
The word influencer is so overused, though.
I know, but that's the way life is going at the moment.
Yep.
Another thing I want to plug is A9. They released their album, Planet 9, their 8th album, this week. And man, it is good. It's much more, I would say, dance orientated compared to their previous album, Ideal. And it's nearly been a year since they released that. So they've done it in good timing. Yeah, so I've been listening to that for the past few days. And yeah, definitely recommend it.
I want to check it out now that you brought it up.
But apart from that, that's it.
Okay, MBT, what do you got?
So recently, it was announced by Anisong World Matsuri that they will be appearing on Anime Expo this year. They will bring 9 artists or acts to Anime Expo, and one of them being Aimer, which is one of my... sorry. Ame.
I feel like we had this in another podcast already.
Yeah, we did.
Where we just got really breathy and into the mic, just like, Ame.
Okay, so let me continue. They're going to bring Ame, and also, not sure how to pronounce it, but Akors, and Sayuri, Yuki Kajiura, Main, I don't know how to pronounce that either, Shoko Nagagawa, and Iris, and also the Idol Masters, Cinderella Girls, as well as AKB48 Team 8. So they will be appearing in Anime Expo between July 4th to the 8th at Los Angeles Convention. And that is the same place as they held their previous Anime Expo. And hopefully we'll have our resident Californian Mazo on the spot to report on that. And
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. As I'm personally an Aimer fan, I'm going to try to... sorry, I can't hold a straight face when you say that. We're gonna try to get an interview with Emma.
Yeah, and when we do, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold a microphone up to her and be like, "For my editor, how do you say your name?"
It is Emma.
And they're gonna be like,
Emma.
"Get the fuck out! Don't get that close to the fucking camera."
Maybe you should say hi, Emma. That's the first thing you should need to say. Yeah, but it's gonna be quite awesome. It's a great lineup, and I'm just gonna be super sad when it happens because I'm not gonna be able to attend.
Yeah, he didn't want to pay the money to come meet me.
Yeah. I tried to stay away from Mazo because reasons.
Because reasons. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I'll remember that.
Oi.
That was all from me.
I think
Okay.
only one from the Anime Expo performance is like, for me, Sanketsu Girl Sayuri, because of Erased and Rampo Kitan. Because her songs are really like, not, I wouldn't say hollow, but what they speak something to me. And even the music videos are really cool as well. So I definitely recommend you check them out.
Her music is quite personal, and it's quite funny to see that the things that she debuted with her first album is a lot of these songs were quite old actually. I think it was back when she was like 14 she composed them.
Damn.
So yeah, it's quite from the heart, her music.
So you said Rampo Kitan. What did you mean by that?
Rampo Kitan Game of Laplace. That's an anime.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought you meant. Yeah, the one I remember from there is what's your favorite band again?
Boku ga inai machi.
Machi.
No, we're talking about Rampo Kitan.
Okay, wait.
Oh,
I said, what's your favorite artist again? And I meant Amazarashi. The song
Oh,
that
okay.
Amazarashi had in
that was
Game of Laplace. It was perfect. I mean, at that time that came out, I think MBT probably wrote about when the video came out, and like that was all I listened to for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even like Amazarashi that as much as the MBT, but that song really done it for me. Like, I really made me want to check out more. So, I mean, segue, but yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, before we get way too off topic, the other thing is one of those artists did Soreiro Days for Gurren Lagann. But anyway, before we get super off topic and start talking about anime and weaving out over here, let's get to our final topic so that people can wrap up this hot bath. And the final topic is our social section. Hold it, NBT. Our social section, which is... so we had a poll about how many of you would be willing to potentially pay to watch a stream of a live event in Japan or maybe in another part of the world with a JROCK band. And not too surprising to me, it was mostly people were very willing to do this. A few people said no, but it was the majority yes. And I feel like that would be a great way for a band to kind of get their live performances out there without, all those freaking travel expenses. I mean, it takes away a lot from the actual experience of being there, but at the same time, you know that they know that you're there,
I agree. Yeah, that's true. Nico does a similar thing, and I don't know if they do it now, but I remember a few years back, I wanted to see Jack in the Box, which is arranged by Danger Crew Records, I believe, and I had to wake up mega early to go see it. So it's also like they'll have broadcasts of certain lives, and sometimes they'll have it live. And I remember one time they had one for Overworld. I watched that as well, and that was pretty good. It surprises me in a sense, but the only reason why it doesn't is because we now have services like Netflix, subscription fees to pay, and so people are, I think, feel like more willing to do that now. I was talking to Edo actually about this, and I was saying, what would be great? If I know Japanese iTunes has DVDs for artists on iTunes, what if they just done the same but also for like foreign audiences? Because I'm pretty sure they'll get a lot more. The amount of times I've said that I've been watching anime on my phone and I can't watch it because I have no data, or the Wi-Fi is like really bad, so I can't see why that can't be a thing.
No. Why are you watching anime on your phone? I don't know, man.
Why are you not watching anime in 4K,
Yeah, but I mean,
Blu-ray,
it feels like
uncensored? Come on,
I
man.
feel like it's disrespecting because you're diminishing their work. You're watching in like a 5 screen inch.
You wouldn't
like,
steal a car, sis.
Let me
yeah,
tell
would you
you,
download a car? Would you?
There we go. It's
Maybe
you wouldn't download a
I
car.
can't afford a car, so maybe I would download a car.
Damn it,
But-
that argument never works.
But I understand what you mean. But because people are always working in it, and people are always going to places, and I never have. At the moment, I'm having not the time to watch anime and watch my live DVDs, so it's not troublesome. I know I would watch it if I was on the move. That's why.
Yeah, see, I think you guys in Europe have it real different from me because you guys have such good public transportation. I have to drive myself everywhere, so I don't have a chance to really watch all that much. But I mean, my take on the whole streaming of lives is, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, if people are willing to watch somebody play a game that's already free to play, why not, watch a good band play on stage and, have a donation box set up, have links to merch, have it like you're there, but you just have to ship everything to you at some later date. To me, it seems self-evident that that's something that would work, because especially in this time of technology, there's access and people do want these things. I mean, I buy those Jiron Gray tour DVDs. I don't always watch them, but I mean, if they were streaming a tour, I would definitely, tune into the stream if I was able to line up the time correctly.
Yeah, it's like you guys said. It's getting more acceptable to pay for things online, for subscriptions, things like that. And I mean, in the mobile community, you like all these microtransactions. It was like people didn't really understand that.
Loot boxes are banned in Belgium.
Well, I don't know, man.
No, go
but
on.
yeah, but in Japan, like there's so much microtransactions going on right now that it's a whole like new market right now. In
I
Japan,
imagine it's been probably going on in Japan for much longer than it has been over here. So that's why we're kicking up a fuss about it over here, probably.
Yeah, they
You have to
ruined
pay for
Star
stuff?
Wars.
No, man. We got like YouTube as well, and it's been free for a long time. And when they announced YouTube Red, everyone gone crazy. Like, we're not gonna pay for this shit. Like, I don't know.
I don't.
No, I don't actually pay for YouTube either. So.
I think what a good idea was. I think that I can't remember if it was last year or the year before that, but YouTube done something one time, and they said, "Look, we're gonna stream live recordings of." I think what was included was Boom Boom Satellites. I remember Nightmare being involved in it, and there was a few others, and they were free for a limited time. I think it was for about a week or 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that was really cool. If you could like have the ability to do that, even have it free, have it there for a week, I think people might even buy it. There's live DVDs I might skip because I don't like an album or whatnot, but I think it's definitely with bands like Darren Gray, live DVDs getting much more expensive, I guess, because of Blu-ray and whatnot, So I think that would be definitely a good idea.
Yeah, actually, I watched a clip on YouTube when I was deciding on. I decided not to actually buy Sawano Hiroyuki's album.
Yeah.
Because of complications. I'm not going to go into the details. But after I saw a clip on YouTube that was illegally uploaded of the DVD, I was so impressed by it that I instantly went to CD Japan and bought it.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say something, which was Toriko, before they released, and they did a studio live session. And that's another thing. So it doesn't even have to be at a venue, if you ask me.
That's it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, they did that studio live session where they played a bunch of their songs, like live in front of an audience, but all the audience was digital. The only people there were the people in the studio, and they had like a bunch of different drummers, and a lot of cool stuff came out of it. Especially if you watch the video for Niwa, that one's really great because they have all the drummers doing their little drum solos. Because at the time they didn't have a dedicated drummer.
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember. it was a couple years ago, JROCK ONSEN released, I think, at least one track. It was, I forget what the song was, but it was shot in one take. I think it was Shokubeni, shot in one take. Yeah. And that was on either a DVD or a special for a CD. I remember seeing that. And that's the same thing. I mean, you don't even need like 19 cameras and stuff. You need a good room, good sound equipment, could be the studio, and one static camera. And it's worth seeing. Like, watching Shokubeni shot in one take was awesome.
They did more than one, though, right?
Yeah, because I think they did 2 or 3 songs, but I remember Shokubeni the most.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, especially, I think this would be especially good for bands that bring out DVDs a lot, and that's like me, mainly Overworld, but also Larkin Seal. They have so many DVDs, and it's also quite nice to see like the history of like their first DVD to like maybe the most recent one, and just see how they've developed over the years. It's also so nice. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So, I mean, I guess the bottom line is, from the fans' perspectives that we've polled, it sounds like a great idea. Yeah. And to us, it sounds like a great idea. So I think that there is no debating that there's a market for it. But the bottom line is that this is just a dream. And it's up to somebody to figure out how to make it work.
True. Just want to mention that we actually saw a few comments that were like negative towards the idea as well. So it wasn't all like glitter and rainbows.
You know what the comments were saying?
No, it was more like just a negative attitude towards paying.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, why pay when you can steal, right? You would download a car, Sis.
Right. I mean, it's more convenient to download a car, right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, my thing is, especially with this, is I feel like when you buy an album, a little bit goes to the artist, a lot goes to the cost it costs to make that album, and a lot goes to the label. Obviously, the artist has, their deal with the record label and all that, so they do get paid at the end of the day. But when I go to a live show, I buy a shirt, I paid for the ticket, I paid for all this shit as much as I can while I'm there. I feel like that's really my way of giving back to the artist, is giving them my time and my dollars and being like, make more, I need more. And I feel like with a live stream like that, especially if you look at like these big time streamers who make like, millions a week, if you're live streaming a concert and you have a little donation box, you have people open to buy your merch online and stuff like that. That's just raking in the cash for the artists and, giving them more of a reason to stick around and not disappear.
I agree. And that's the same for like, I think it's much more relevant for smaller bands as well. Like, even if they don't release, like, they could just be at a live house with other bands. I think that would be really good, actually. Mm-hmm. Just a live house with other bands, and they're having their play four songs or whatnot, and then they come off again, the next band comes on. That would be great.
Yeah, there's just so many different ways that this could be executed and be cool. I mean, there's definitely
a big problem though. On what platform are they gonna do this?
Twitch.
I don't know if Twitch is the preferred choice, but I definitely don't think YouTube is the way to go.
I don't think.
No, not right now. You'd get taken down for being too racy. Just like, man, fucking Keisuke just took off his shirt. Better take down this video. Don't want anyone seeing any nipples.
Every time Sis mentions Nico Nico, Nico Nico is a similar service like YouTube in Japan, but I'm just thinking about the the anime character from Love Live.
Nico.
Yeah.
I think of the wrestler.
Love Live, innit? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, we went on this one for a while, but I think it's time
to shut up.
It's time to close up shop. It's time to get out of the man soup that we've created and get on with our days. So thanks to everyone for listening, as always. I've been your host, Mazo, with my co-hosts, Sis.
Yeah.
And NBT.
Yo.
So, we'll see you next time, guys.
Bye-bye.